Hi everyone, this video is for the section ethical decision making, which is asked only in XAT paper. So no other entrance, no other MBA entrance has such section. Now this section is entirely different than what we generally learn for CAT or NMAT or any other entrance. So in addition to aptitude, XAT has this section. This section can be easy, or this section would be of an average level for most of the people. Now, what lies in this section is how we are able to take a decision considering from the perspective of ethics. Okay? So, the decision that you take might be realistic, might not be realistic. And as I always say, that India is a country of jugaad. So when you talk about ethics, you don't talk about jugaad. Okay? So ethics is wherein you stick with the point as per the laws and regulations concerned, and this may question the working style of different people who are not going with the ethical part. Okay? So in such questions, you might be working as an executive at an executive level, you might be working at a managerial level, at a CEO, as a CEO of a company, or can be at any position. Yet you have to take certain decisions, can be harsh on few people as well. Okay, so let's start with this section. So the first question says, so this is the data which is given to you, followed by a question. So in that as well, the you will have similar kind of set or similar kind of questions, which may look like an RC passage or a normal reading comprehension. Okay, so spend some quality time in understanding what is given and then answer the questions. So it says Rahul is a manager of Elcon Marketing. A new employee Mitesh demands a reimbursement for the cost incurred while entertaining a client last night. So Rahul is a manager of a company and he is going for a reimbursement. Okay? He submits receipts from a restaurant and lounge, and Rahul obliges and authorizes a reimbursement. Obviously, for reimbursement, you need receipts from the restaurant, which is there. During lunch, Rahul overhears another employee telling his co-worker how he and his wife bought the house down at a lounge with Mitesh and his girlfriend. So basically, what Rahul overheard is that one of the employee, his near and dears, went with Mitesh in a lounge and they had a good time there. It is the company protocol to fire employees found guilty of using company funds for private reasons. However, any reimbursement is to be verified before sanction. So now, in this case, it may have happened that Rahul would have went with Mitesh and the other friends. Sorry, Mitesh would have went with the employee and the other friends, and those receipts he might have submitted as reimbursement, which is obviously ethically incorrect. And company also follows a protocol and fire the employee who are found guilty. But the catch is that Rahul has already authorized the reimbursement. So this is also a negative part from Rahul's perspective, as he is the manager and was already approved for reimbursement. So question is, what action should Rahul take? So now in this cases, what you can do is you can go through all the options, eliminate the options which are not ethically correct or which you will not be taking as a decision. Okay? So first is issue a memo to Mitesh. Yes, this can be the answer. B, fire Mitesh on account of claiming company funds for personal reasons according to company protocol. Okay, this might be again an answer. Ask the employee the time at which he was with Mitesh, because now this point comes into picture because as this line says, during lunch Rahul overhears, so he has overheard that Mitesh took his friends along with him for food, for dinner. Okay, so this is what he has overheard. He does not have any kind of proof wherein the employee told to the manager, that is Rahul, or he found some evidence. Okay? So this might also be an answer. D, do nothing as any action will highlight the lack of due verification or also. Now this is not ethically correct, so this will be eliminated. Cancel the reimbursement and talk to Mitesh in person about the matter. Now this will be a very harsh decision considering that Rahul overheard what has happened. So E and A and B will be out of picture. So what Rahul should ideally do, first confirm that whether Mitesh and his friend went on to the same night at the same lounge for dinner, or it was some other scenario. Based on that fact, he can take some decision. So as of now, as we can see, this is an incomplete or insufficient data which is given. Okay. So answer C will be the proper answer for such kind of questions. Okay. So you can use this method of eliminating the option. First of all, eliminate which are not ethically correct, and on the rest of the options, you can give a thought. Okay. Ciao. Second question. It says Alan has worked as a bank cashier for several months when one of the other employee who is a good friend. Now the catchword here is that he's a good friend. Tells him that his son is extremely ill and needs a costly operation to survive, and he has no insurance and operation will cost 10 lakh rupees. Some days later, Alan asks him about his son's health and he tells him that he is just fine now. So he needed 10 lakhs, was extremely ill, and now he is good. He then confides in Alan that he took 10 lakh from a dormant account at a bank to pay the operation. So he did something wrong, correct? He assures him that he has already started paying it back and will continue to do so until it is all returned. Now, since he has confided with Alan, Alan has to take some step. So, question is, what should Alan do? Report the incident to the manager. So, ideally, he should report to a manager, but still, let's see rest of the options if we have a better option. B, finance the rest of the money and tell the other cashier to pay in the balance. Now, why will Alan pay 10 lakhs? I mean, we do not even know is Alan capable of paying 10 lakhs. So, obviously, finance the rest of the money is not the option. Get a loan sanction of the balance amount in the name of the cashier from the manager against a mortgage. Okay, this can be the answer. Trust the cashier to keep his word. Again, not ethically correct, so D will be out of picture. Inform the holder of the account of the incident while giving him an increased rate of interest and ask the cashier to pay the difference. Sorry. Now, increased rate of interest is not something in the hands of Alan because Alan is not a bank. The rules are not decided by Alan. So he cannot give increased rate of interest to the account holder. And anyways, it is a dormant account. It will be very difficult for Alan to go and find that person. And again, since the other employee is good friend of Alan, he shouldn't do that. So we are left with two options: report the incident to the manager or get a loan sanction of the balance amount in the name of the cashier from the manager against model. So answer will be C option, considering he's informing the manager obviously, but he's also giving a solution since he's a good friend. So whenever you think about your friend, you will also try to give a good solution. But since you are taking an ethically correct decision, you have to report to manager. So get a loan sanction of the balance amount in the name of cashier from the manager against a mortgage will be the correct answer. C option is the correct answer. Okay. So let's move on to the third question. In his spare time at work, Rakesh has built a new code on the computer in his company. It seems to be a great breakthrough, yet easier to use than anything else. A friend encourages him to market it on his own as he could make a large profit instantly. This is a very lucrative option, yet Rakesh developed it using company equipment and during the time that he was at work. So basically, he was working for a company, and during the work and research and development, he went through this and made the new code. It is in company policy that any source may not be used without the company's knowledge. So now again, there's a catch, and Rakesh cannot just go ahead and sell it. make profit instantly. So what should Rakesh do? First option, delete the evidence of the data on company computer and market the code independent. Again, not ethically correct. So he shouldn't do this stuff. A is not the answer. Market the code independent and compensate the company the cost of equipment used with a premium. Seems strange, but still let us keep it as an open option. We will not close it. Associate with the company on the code. Okay. Uh, Market the code anonymously through a friend. Again, not ethically correct. Resign from the company and then market his code. So this will be a jugaad situation, but is not ethically correct. So being an Indian, always remember E seems to be a good option considering jugaad, but is not ethically correct. So you are left with B or C. Now, compensating the company without telling the company is not ethically correct. Correct. So instead of going for B, C will be more ethically correct option associated with the with his company on the board. So he can talk with managers, VPs, etc. And he can associate with his company on the code. Okay. So C will be the correct answer for this question. Okay. Chalo. Next question. Ashwat Wala. Ashwat is the chief editor of a newspaper in Ambernath, which has published an article concluding that bottled mineral water has virtually no health advantages over the tap water in most cities, including Ambernath. Okay. The report that included comments from local health store owners and water distributors which challenged the study. Okay. The Aqua Pure Bottled Water Company has threatened to pull its advertising account worth of 75 lakhs a year with the newspaper unless it runs another story of equal prominence focusing on the benefits of bottled water. It is found that the report published did not conflict with any point on the contract. Cool. What can be the course of action taken by Ashwat if he is the editor concerned about unbiased reports? So he is concerned about unbiased reports. So point is Ashwat do not want to go back on what is already published in paper. Okay. So A option, write a retraction saying that the article was based on facts now proven incorrect, ethically incorrect because money is not everything and he wants to take an unbiased decision. State that his withdrawal of account, if made public knowledge, would further ascertain the study. Okay, seems a point of low weightage, but we will think about it. Owing to the large investment at stake, agree to write the report. Again, ethically incorrect. Agree to write a report, but later dilute the prominence and benefits of Aquapia. Ethically very much incorrect. Okay? You should never backstab your clients. It should never happen. He agree to report, write a report, but start looking for other guy. Now it's not that simple to replace an existing client. So E will also be an option out of option. So basically you are left with only B as an option. State that is withdrawal of account if made public knowledge would further ascertain the study. So this is something that he would debate on and then he might find a middle way for such kind of scenario. So answer for this question will be B because rest of the options are not ethically correct, shouldn't be done. Okay. Fifth question. Bob is new officer assigned to a senior constable for the first year of employment. The senior constable is a 20-year veteran with many successful crime operations under his belt and is a close friend of DIG. Now this veteran is close friend of DIG. Okay. The third day that Bob is working. So Bob is the new officer and this is his third day only. Is working with him. Bob responds to a burglary call at a local convenience store. It is 2:30 a.m. So midnight 2:30 and the manager has been notified. Bob is directed to wait 30-35 minutes for the manager's arrival. A short time later, he observes the senior constable take a soda, candy, and a bag of chips and starts to consume them. So, without the knowledge of manager, the veteran, the senior constable, started eating or drinking soda. When the manager arrives, they depart. So, obviously, the senior officer did not pay for what he had during this 30-35 minute wait. What should Bob do? Okay, now Bob is in trouble. This is his third day of working, and the senior constable is a close friend of DIG. What should he do? A. Nothing. Policemen are entitled to a free for the service, etc., etc. Obviously, not ethically correct. Ask the senior constable to pay for the items to the manager the next day. Okay, can be one of the answer. Come back the next day and pay for the items when with the senior constable. Okay, can be the answer. Report the incident to some other supervisor. Not a good idea, because even if it is reported, since he is a close friend of DIG, there won't be much of an action, and this is not a crime that he has done. So there won't be much of a investigation or ruling which would happen, or which could happen. Appeal to the senior constable that such behavior is against the morals of the police, and the next time you will report the incident. Now, this person is a 20-year veteran with many successful crime operations. So appealing senior constable and telling him the morals of police will not be a good idea, because he already knows what is right, what is wrong. All he is doing is something not ethical. Okay. So we are left with two options. Either ask the senior constable to pay the items to the manager the next day, or come back the next day and pay by himself with the senior constable. Now, out of this two option, I would go for C. Reason being, this is his third day and the other person is very senior. Now, if you ask someone to pay the money, so it might have costed him 100 or 150 bucks. But point is, asking the senior constable to pay might not be the answer, because he might not oblige. Correct. But uh, making him aware that what you did is wrong, and for you I am paying at this moment, without using any word and doing it by actions, would be the correct way. So coming back the next day and pay for the items, because this is a very small amount which obviously Bob can afford, with the senior constable. So senior constable should see that Bob is paying for the items which the senior constable had consumed. Okay, so out of B and C, you should go with option C. Okay, chalo. Next, let's look at question 6. Aslam is a buyer for a supermarket company. His company has a policy of not accepting gifts. However, However, as is the case with any sales employee worldwide, salesmen have offered and other employees have accepted lunch, theater, and discount tickets. So basically, he's a buyer for a supermarket company, and some salesman has offered him something, and he generally employees accept it. Aslam arrives home from the office and finds a new TV on the doorstep with a note that says, "A personal gift for you, our long standing friendship. Enjoy it with your family in good health. The Parson Foods Company." Now, this seems to be a personal gift, but is not a personal gift. It has been authorized by Parson Foods Company. So, it has been sent by company to a person who is working in supermarket. Okay, and the company has a policy of not accepting gifts. However, returning the gift might offend its sender. So what should Aslam do? Okay, first is keep the gift. Now this is not ethically correct, so Aslam should not keep the gift. Return the gift to the address. Okay, can be an answer. Call Parson Foods Company and return the gift, a better option. So instead of just returning the gift, first call Parson Foods Company, tell them that I cannot accept the gift as this is against the policy and I am returning it. Okay, C would be better than B. Use the TV player at the market office lobby with the note beside it. Now, this will be very wrong, and you are actually making fun of Parson Foods Company. Okay, as this note. So this is not something which you should do. Discontinue the relation with Parson Foods. Now, this is also out of option. This is because you cannot just discontinue a relationship with some other company. So answer will be option C, call Parson Foods Company and return gift, even if it offends its sender. Okay, so you should go with C option. Now, seventh question. So we will be taking this as the last question, as the questions way of asking will change, keep on changing, but you need to understand how to select the best option. Okay, so let's see at seventh question. Ashok is a teacher who has a student, Ryan, who is from a single parent family. Ryan needs to work in order to attend college. So he might be not financially strong. So he needs to work in order to attend college. However, the job is interfering with his performance and several assignments have not been turned in. Ashok has determined that a D is all the student can make when a counselor informs him that Ryan needs a C to qualify for an academic scholarship. Now, this scholarship is also important for Ryan because he's not financially strong, but Ashok knows as per his performance he deserves D. Ashok's college is very strict in giving fair grades to all students concerned with favoritism. So they obviously Ashok should not give any grade any of his favorite student. This is the company's college policy. What should Ashok do? So first option, give a D. It will be unfair to other students. Okay, can be one of the option. Give a C. Education is the prime importance rather than performance in a course. Now he cannot directly give a C because then it will show a favoritism. Call Ryan and ask him of his ability to continue without the scholarship and then decide accordingly. Now, this will obviously out of options because he's already working because he wants to attend college and he's not financially strong. So this will be obviously out of option. Call Ryan and tell him to submit his assignments by tomorrow as an extended deadline specifically for him without mentioning that he is currently getting D and needs a C for scholarship. Okay, this can also be an answer. Call Ryan and explain him the situation and tell him to complete his coursework by tomorrow. Okay, this can also be an option, but out of D and E, D is slightly better. Reason being, uh, he is not informing Ryan about D or C as a grade. He's just giving him a chance. So now we have to select D or A as the options. So A, now what happens is when a teacher is in such kind of dilemma, they have to look from all the perspectives. Now, in this case, this is very specific instance wherein a student is capable or wants to go for a college, but cannot go because of financial issues. So ideally, Ashok should go with D option. He should call up Ryan, tell him to give an extended deadline, but do not tell him about the grades that he deserves or he should get with scholarship. So this is an one extended deadline. If Ryan do not oblige or if he does not submit assignments, then he will get a D. Else he can give a C. Ashok can give C to Ryan. Okay. So D is the answer for such question. So we will stop here. I hope you all understood. The mantra of this section is to shortlist option. Remove all those options which are not ethically correct. Shortlist. Do not give any harsh final output and then mark your answer. So that's it from my side, guys. All the best and do well in ethical decision making section. Bye bye. Take care.